Okay, so the topic today, I'm going to keep it short because I got stuff to do, places to go, is success is beyond being motivated. And I'm going to try to break this down. Now, I want to preface this by what has what I've been seeing amongst friends, family, clients, and things of that nature. So I see that there are people who really want to make changes in their lives, and they may not always know the steps and how to get there, and that's totally fine. That's part of the learning process because you might be trying to do something that no one has done before, and of course there's not going to be a roadmap to it. Now, motivation, I think a lot of people confuse that to be the thing that keeps you going. That's just, to me, motivation is just the spark. That's the jumping off spot for getting things done. And sometimes your motivation could be could be genuine, right? So for example, I'm trying to think of something simple. Say you need to organize a closet, and it's like this closet is full of stuff, and you want it cleaned out, you want it organized, but you're just waiting for that motivation, or you have a form of motivation, but you're waiting for that motivation to get you to do it. That's the motivation I'm talking about, that it's not what's going to get you what you need in life. I think what you need is a system. What you need is a plan. It's more than just, oh, I really want to do this. Yeah, you can want it, but you need to start making your plans for it. And this, as a life coach, as a teacher, that I've seen time and time and time and time again, when people start to fall off, because when it's actually time to start putting together a plan, then they're like, oh, that's where the blocks start. That's where the self-sabotage starts. That's where, um I guess I don't want to say poor planning, but the energy, and the energy is a little bit difficult to explain. So let me see if I can explain this the best way I can. So if you find yourself saying, again, back to the closet analogy, need to clean that closet out, and you keep saying, oh, I need to find a time for it. So that's a part of a plan, and that's totally fine. You can set aside a time on your calendar, move things out of the way, those kinds of things. Hello there. Um, you can, like I said, mark the time on your calendar for the big organization project that you are going to do. And that's great. It's wonderful. But what I find is that when people are looking, not quite the energy, they're looking for other things rather than, like, reducing it down to its basicness. Meaning, they're like, beyond just the calendar, then they're like, well, I need to find my friend to help me do this, and I need to uh go go grocery shopping first and get the right materials, and then all that. Those are avoidance. That's what I'm talking about. So the moment that you try to find other little things that you're thinking that you're planning, you're not really planning by then. But then this is the tricky part. How do you know? How do you know that you're not actually really trying to set yourself up for success versus you're just procrastinating, right? Most times people think that, oh, I need to order this from Amazon so it'll help me or get organized faster. It's like, no, no, you're just avoiding it, the task. Just do it. Just do it. And not just do it, but plan to do every step of the way. Because I think a lot of times people, they don't plan for the steps of the way versus saying, oh, I need this tool, or oh, I need this person, or I need, the moment that you start pushing accountability away from yourself is when you start slipping and sliding when it comes to that success. Okay. Now, depending on where you are in your like a goal setting and getting things done, yeah, you might have an assistant. And I'm not saying don't have people to help you, but have those people that are, oh, hi. Hi there. Good good night. We're having daytime here. So, yeah, so whenever you plan to do or achieve things, a lot of times people say, "Well, I need to have this and I need to have that." It's like, think about what you can do right in that moment or in within those 24 hours to start the ball rolling, as they say. The ball rolling just means to get this thing to start happening for you. Okay? Versus waiting around saying, well, I got to talk to so and so first, or I need to go get this thing, and oh, I need to blah, 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 blah. The moment that we start doing that, that's where it starts to fall apart. If you know you need to organize that closet, first things first, and give yourself a time limit. That's another thing, I guess, when it comes to success. It's like give yourself a certain amount of wiggle room time to goof off, I guess, or to kind of decide, like, I don't know what, maybe I can do it this way, maybe I can do it that way. I mean, listen, I do this all the time. I do, even me. Okay. I've got projects on projects on projects. But I also give myself that time frame of like, okay, well, this needs to be done by a certain time. Otherwise, I need to start, or I'm going to do this. Like, set yourself up with backups. And that's another way to set yourself up for success versus depending on being motivated. Because what happens if, say, like, yeah, you plan on doing your closet cleanup on a particular day, but that on that day, you end up getting sick. That, things do happen. They happen. Okay. Depending on how ill you are, there's still some things you could do. If you're bedridden and you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm so like, oh, I'm sneezing, coughing, all that stuff, then maybe you need to just write out first level, throw things away, start like literally writing it out. I know that sounds so like, really? It's like, yeah. I am a performer. Like, where's my journal? So I have journals where sometimes you got to write it down step by step by step by step. Sometimes if you are looking for a certain thing, you need to order. Maybe, if you're sick, that is. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, don't just throw your whole plan away if something happens, because life happens. I do get it. Life does happen, but you got to learn how to be flexible in it too, rather than to just say, well, I guess I didn't get it done. Oh, well. I've helped students with, like adult students too, with musical instruments playing. They're almost the worst because they'll say, well, I didn't get around to it. My work. And I would to me every week, having not practiced. Yet they want to be, this player, this performer, and things like that. And I'm like, well, say for example, let's just go with I used to teach ukulele and a guitar, but let's just say they were trying to learn how to play ukulele, and they got all the stuff. That's part of it. So when people get motivated, they get like super energized into like getting the instrument, getting the parts, getting the books, trying to watch a bunch of videos, and then they realize, like, wait a minute, I need a coach. I need a coach. to motivate, to quote unquote motivate you. It's like what you're looking for is that accountability piece, but you can do that on your own. Okay. So, one of the things I used to do with my adult students with instruments is I would ask them first of all, like, where is your instrument in the house, right? And they would say, "Oh, I put it in a case and I leave it in the blah 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 blah." And I'm like, "Well, that doesn't help you get closer to actually practicing daily." And when I say practice daily, it doesn't mean practice for hours and hours at a time. It could be just 10 minutes. It could be 15 minutes. It could be while you put food in the oven or whatever, noodle a little bit. That's practice. Okay? So, setting yourself up for success means putting all the pieces in place and having a plan of action, even if it means in between other things, right? And like I said, I've had students who it would be every week they would say, "Well, I didn't practice this week," because they think that they can get the practice in with me in those 30 minutes once a week. One day I had to just sit down with somebody, um, not really sure what's your name. Um, I sat down with this person. They were younger and they actually had more time, so they didn't have a job, but I sat down with this person and we actually looked at the daytime hours that they had during the week and on the weekends. And sometimes you have to do that time audit, okay, along with a life audit for which you can get on my channel. Um, Looking at the time that you have, really scrutinizing that time, thinking about the time that gets wasted in a day. Think about the time that you're just sitting around waiting. Things like waiting for something or walking to something while you're doing cleaning the house or whatever, you're waiting for the washer to be done or whatever it is you're doing. You can find ways to make the time. And most times people complain like, "Oh, I just don't have time." I'm sorry, but that's a lie. It's not true. You don't want to make the time. And I'm a hard coach, okay? Really think about how badly you want something. And I really do revert back to the story of the little red hen. The little red hen was super motivated to make that bread for herself. She wasn't waiting for those friends. Even though she had asked them, she's like, "Are you willing to help me plant the wheat? Are you willing to help me sow the wheat? Are you willing to help me take it to the grinder mill? Are you willing to help me cook this? Are you willing to help me serve it?" And along the way, though all those other people were not. And you know what? That little red hen, she still had a plan in place. She wasn't waiting around for those other people to help, to quote unquote help her, because they were just like, "Well, I'm busy. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. Yeah, yeah, let me, uh, busy, So, but when the bread was ready, they're all, "Oh, here's my plate. Oh, yeah, yeah. I was rooting for you the whole time." It's like, but you weren't there, you know. So we can't sit around and depend on others when you, first of all, and that's, I guess, another aspect of it. You might be highly motivated and you might actually really be wanting to do and take on these challenges, but the people that you're involving don't match the energy. Okay? I've been in those situations way too many times where I wanted to work with a certain photographer, and I'm just going to do a story time now. So, as you can tell, yeah, I'm a teacher, I'm a musician, and I had a project like 2 years ago that I wanted to do, and I called upon a friend to do it because I knew that she had this eye for a certain thing that I wanted. Like I had this like idea for this total fantasy kind of photo shoot kind of thing with music and stuff like that. We talked about it. We even went on location. Okay, we drove around town in different spots looking for different locations and started planning it out. And then by the end of the meeting, though, like we were having like a late lunch or an early dinner or whatever, and just trying to, really plan it, I can already tell by how she was talking that she wasn't as motivated as me. And the thing is, I was going to pay her. So she was a friend, and she still is a friend. And I don't know if she was thinking that I was trying to get this for free, but as we were just ironing out the details, she was just like, "Oh, I don't know, this and that." She started to have this doubting, kind of not growth mindset, and that was my indication to realize. I was like, "Oh, she's not motivated to do this. Even if I offered her money, I can already tell that she's not going to bring the energy that I'm looking for this particular project." And so sadly, I did not work with her on that project. And like I said, she's my friend. But sometimes you really do have to think about what is motivation, energy, planning, putting it all together. What is that going to take? So when somebody goes like online and they say, "Well, I'm looking for a blah blah blah," and you don't, and all you do is say that, that's not really showing the energy that you're serious, you know? Yes, there's plenty of people who will say, like I said, the little red hen story. And if you don't know that story, I maybe I need to retell that story yet again. I love that story. It has so much in it. But basically, the little red hen wanted bread, and so she knew it's going to take a lot of energy, it's going to take focus, it's going to take planning, it's going to take dedication more than just motivation. Because her other barnyard friends, like the duck and the fox, and I'm trying to think of the other animal, the dog, and these particular stories, like they want to eat bread, but they're not motivated, or they don't have the energy enough to go through the process with you. And me as a coach, I'm going to be on that level too. Like, you could hire me as a coach, but if I see that your energy is not where it could be, I'm not saying that, you need to be as hype as everybody else, but if you just don't exhibit the determination that I know I would see in a successful person, then I just can't work with you. And it really is that simple. And a lot of times when people come up to me and they see me in my element when I'm on a gig and I'm performing, and they say things like, I get this a lot, like, "Oh, I'm a rapper. Like, how can I do this and do that?" And I was like, "Well, I'm telling you the steps. I give them the information, give it all to them." They don't follow up because of the blocks. And that's something that inner work has to, deal with. Why are you sabotaging? Why are you avoiding? Why are you delaying something that you say you want? And that's a whole nother topic to talk about. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a lot of fruit this morning. So I'm on my way. I got things to do. But yeah, I just wanted to say that it's like your motivation is more than just saying, "I want to do something." And yes, you can succeed in it, but you got to go through the fire. You got to do the steps. You got a little red hen it. Okay? Even when your friends are, they say at first your friends are like, "Oh, okay, we'll do it. This is going to be awesome." And then all of a sudden they start falling off because they might not be as motivated as you. Don't let that deter you. Don't let that bring you down. Even if you fail, and this is something else I will leave it at. The people who are successful fail more times than people who never even try in the first place. Okay, let me say that again. The people who are successful tried and failed more than people who are not successful have ever even begun to try, because they've talked themselves out of something. They have convinced themselves that it's not going to work because of this reason, because I'm a woman, because I got dark skin, because they won't let me. I was like, who's they? Okay? You've talked yourself out of it. Okay? So you don't want that to happen. And yes, a failure is nothing but a lesson. It just tells you what not to do next time. Try something else. Even in my classroom, even 2 years ago, where I had a situation where we had some students, but I tried everything under the sun until I can figure out what was going on in that classroom. Other teachers, they would be quick to run to administration to say, well, they're this and they're this, I don't blah, blah, blah. And administration would ask, and is rightfully so, what have you tried? None of they usually they will say, well, I tried this, and that was it. I was like, well, try something else then. Right? That's not how you like get things. You try things. You try more things, and then you try other things. Okay? All right. So I'm gonna take a quick peek at the chat just to see like what's going on here. Um, before I go, because I want people to be, you know, yeah. Okay, Applebee's Roanoke Rapids. Hi, how's it been? You haven't chatted in a while, or like, hopefully you've been watching the videos. And then I've got a new friend from yesterday. You're supposed to be asleep. See, I remember. See, I take care of my people. Okay, so please get your studies in and get your rest too. Um, mm-hmm. South Carolina. So yeah, there's some people on the East Coast. Yeah, also on the technically, I guess, East Coast. And as I'm peeking through, we got a friend from India here and a friend from what I'm saying, I guess from their tag is Virginia Roanoke. But yeah, it's like I hope this message reach you. You can achieve a lot of things, like even things like I'm pointing at my ukulele here. Um, you can achieve things. People do it all the time. You know, you really just have to plan it out and plan for what will you do if this does not happen. Plan B and C and D and E and F. There's 26 letters at least in the English alphabet. So you got to have all these things ready. You got to come, like, I'm not saying fight, and I'm not even saying hustle. It's a grand experiment sometimes, you know? It reminds me, I know I just said I was going to end this, but if you've ever watched the cartoon Pinky and the Brain, that always gets me. It's like every episode was about Pinky trying to take over the world, right? And he always fails. Always. Every episode. And no, wait, the brain. It was the brain. Sorry. Pinky is the other guy. So the brain was always trying to take over the world, and he always fails every episode, like, because he's evil or whatever. So, but he never stops. That's the whole premise of the cartoon. It was like, well, what are we gonna do this time? It's like, there was some catchphrase. It's like, what are we gonna do this time to take over the world? He's like, this time, blah, 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 blah. So it's always something, right? You don't stop until you get there, okay? Or you get tired. So like, yeah, failure is only failure because you stopped trying, okay? All right. So I'm heading out. I've got some errands to run. You might see me in a bit. Oh, hi. Ooh, equestrian. I used to have a horse. Cool. Do you have a horse? I used to have a horse growing up. Um, his name was Kinky. Maybe I should find some pictures. But yeah, I had a horse growing up. Equestrian. Cool. and Antoine. Hi. And yeah. All right. Oh, there's my cat. Hello, baby. Hey, baby. He talks, as you can see. Oh, you take lessons? Oh, have fun then. Yes, I had a horse. He was a bay. His coloring was brown and black. He was very smart. He had an attitude though, but I loved him. Um, his full name was Conquistador. But anyway, yes. So animals, love them. Uh, Good luck in your lessons, and out there. Yeah. So hopefully, if you're watching the Olympics, that they have horse riding as a sport. So hopefully you'll get a chance to see some equestrians out there. That'd be cool. All right. So yeah, so I have some errands to run. I might pop back on later today. Yeah. I have a book club to run later tonight. I'm trying to get that. Yeah. Yeah, he was beautiful. Um yeah, he didn't even have like people would always ask like does he have any white markings? It was like no, he had like maybe a little tiny dot, but it wasn't enough to call him anything else but a bay, so he was a bay. Um yeah. All right. So hopefully you can watch my other videos. Like I'm a singer-songwriter and a coach. I teach people how to get their life together, be successful in what they want to do, and not listen to the doubters and the haters out there because they don't they're scared basically. So they be like the little red hen and just keep it moving. Okay. All right. Take care out there, friends. Bye.